All right, let's keep it rolling here on the Happy Hour. Jim Kozimor, Ray Ratto with you, and it's time for us to get a little sports in the law going because Khalil Mack, as you know, is no longer a Raider. He's a Chicago Bear. Steve Moskowitz is going to break it down for us as far as what this means tax-wise. Now, here's the deal, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Such a deal.
I know. I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, my friend. So the Raiders trade Mack to the Bears. Mack signs a 6-year, $141 million deal. $60 million at signing. Instantly, $60 million. The Chicago Bears. What does it mean tax-wise? Income tax-wise, you get a $60 million check. Where are we?
Well, we know federal taxes. With state taxes, it depends. Where was he living and where's he going to earn the money? So, and the difference is Illinois has a tax rate, max tax rate that's just under 5%. Where here, it's 13.3%. That's 8 and change difference. That is a huge amount of money. So, for example, on the whole contract, the 141, he saves almost $12 million bucks.
Ooh,
nice.
On the guarantee though, and the bonuses, if you're his tax attorney, do you want him to spread out that bonus for as long as possible so that the tax hit is less, or is it better to bite the bullet, pay what you need to pay up front, and then never worry about it again?
That's a financial question, and me personally, I prefer to take all the money up front, time value of money. He can invest that money, and with a good investment counselor, he should be able to make more than the taxes. That's the trick, because the problem is if you spread it out over the years, you wait years to get the money, and then you're not investing that. That's the difference.
All right, let me give you this. It's a little bit of a hypothetical, but let's say Max stayed with the Raiders. Raiders are going to move to Las Vegas. If he was getting the same numbers and he gets a signing bonus, I'm going to piggyback on Ray's question. Knowing that you'd be starting your term in California, but in a couple of years you're moving to
Maybe
Nevada.
It depends if they get sued or not and
we'll
leave.
get to that. Look at you teasing ahead on the story.
Hey.
But what would you do with that signing bonus then, knowing, would you try to defer as much as you could because you know you're going to a different state?
That's a temptation, especially if they move right away. So, of course, it's nice if he is resident in a state where there's no state income tax, like Nevada, and if he became resident there, that would save him 13.3%. So the question is, even if a California company is paying you, if you're paying somebody that lives in Nevada, it's a different story. And this is, in real life, this is something that you fight over all the time. Well, where was the person resident? Where were they domiciled? What state? But the bottom line is, in something like that, you want to, if possible, live in a non-tax state.
All righty, fair enough. Let's move to the story Steve was just mentioning. The Oakland Raiders, if they get sued or not. So the Oakland City Council has authorized a multi-million-dollar antitrust lawsuit against the NFL and the Raiders over the team's impending move to Las Vegas. There were a couple of different law firms who approached the city about this. Explain the details and why this happens, or how this happened.
Well, this is a fight over everything else, money.
Really?
But that's what we do all day. But the thing here is, has no one looked at what happened in St. Louis? Has no one looked at this? Because my concern is, if I was advising Oakland, I'd say, look, guys, you can make good money for the next couple of years. But if you go ahead and file this suit and you lose, like in St. Louis, you're going to have nothing. Or maybe they work out some type of deal. And that's to me, I think it's pie in the sky. We're saying, wow, we get all this money and we're going to fix you. But, you know, when I think about antitrust, I think it's some nefarious backroom deal where somebody conspires, look, they'll fix their prices and they'll go ahead and deal with competition. But here I'd say, look, this is a business. And if I want to move my office from San Francisco to some other place, you can't say, well, how many lawyers are there and how many lawyers should be here? You have the right to move your business. And look how many NFL teams over the years have moved. Come on, this is sour grapes. They're trying to get money. But I think if they do that, ultimately, I think Oakland's going to lose. And not only will they lose in court, they're going to go ahead and lose the couple of years that Oakland would have paid them. Not to mention the fact that if the stadium isn't ready, maybe it'd be more than a couple of years. Because oftentimes with construction, you have this date, oh, well, they didn't quite make it, so maybe they would be here a few more years. And Oakland's just taking that money and throwing it away.
Well, this isn't an economic point, but it is a political point. The fact that they announced it when the mayor, who's been lukewarm on this whole thing, was out of town, and the county board of supervisors has basically said, this is idiotic, we don't want to be involved with this at all. suggests to me that this was more just sort of saber rattling and, you know, camera luring more than anything else, because I have yet to figure out an antitrust angle here. And
well, I don't think there is any.
Yeah, well, that's my point. It's just that we may be watching people get out in front of their support just to see if somebody will stand up and salute. And the fact that the suit hasn't been filed yet, 6 days after they said they were ready to file, suggests to me that this was a bluff from the start.
It could have well been. And again, as a business person, I think it'd be very ill-advised if they went ahead and did this. To me, this is just bad business, and they're going to lose a lot of money if they do it.
Gee, who'd have guessed?
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, hold on here. It could be the outside attorneys. They've agreed to cover all the upfront costs of the suit. You've got a council member saying that they could win as much as $500 million, Steve. Why wouldn't I?
Well, you know,
make the announcement Monday, the first game for the Raiders.
Why don't they just buy a Powerball lottery ticket? They want even more than that. Because it's the probability. Sure, anything is possible. This roof might fall on us and interrupt the broadcast.
Don't say that.
But it's probabilities. And no, they're not going to get $500 million. That's pie in the sky. That's craziness. That's not tethered to reality.
All righty. Well, that's a shame for Oakland.
Yes, it is.
Steve,
they didn't ask my advice, and let's see what happens.
It is always great catching up with
Pleasure's
you.
mine.
I hope we can do it again sometime very soon. You're the best. Steve Moskowitz, he's my buddy. All right, sports and the law. Ray's my buddy, too, and he knows the law. Hey, we got Scott Bair coming up. We got some Raiders information. Interesting. What about Chucky and his first year coming back to the silver and black?
That's gone well so far.